Hey y'all, welcome to Yapsville, the podcast about my crazy ass life. My name is Mateo. I'm gonna be your host today, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in for this lovely episode. Today, I'm gonna be taking a trip down memory lane, talking about toxic exes, cheaters, liars, manipulators, that kind of thing. And now, to preface this episode, graphic topics are going to be talked about. What did I warn you in the intro to this series? Graphic topics. Yes. And this one, since it's involving an ex, is going to involve topics such as cheating, sex, and even mature language. So you got to come into this with an open mind. You got to come into this thinking, do I really want to hear about this random's sex life? But it's not really, I'm not going to go into full fucking details and tell you, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to go into detail and tell you about how one guy takes another guy or one guy fucks this girl 50 million times in one day. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm not going to talk about that with me. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. So for now, I'm just going to use terms such as was with, and just avoid describing sex as much as possible, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but let's get right into it. So this episode is dedicated to my lovely ex, and we're going to name him Zach for this episode because I don't want to get sued for fucking defamation. Even though it's all true, I don't want sued for defamation. Now, Zach and I met on this infamous gay hookup dating app, whatever the hell you want to call it, called, get ready, Grindr. Did you like that little drum roll I did? I hope you did. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Grindr is a gay dating hookup app, whatever the hell you want to call it. I was on Grindr and I was on Tinder. If you have your head so far up your fucking ass that you do not know what Tinder is, get the fuck out because you're clearly not over 18. Now, before I met Zach, I met someone else named, let's go with Connor. Connor, he was a sweetheart. I knew him for a month longer than I knew Zach. And me and Connor still talk to this day. The difference is Connor wasn't a liar, cheater, sex addict. He was none of that. But Zach, he was a liar, cheater, manipulative little narcissistic cunt. And I do not like him at all. And I'm not going to lie. I did stuff in retaliation. I cheated on him too. But I only did it once with one person. Guess how many times he did it? Not once, but twice. And guess with how many people? Not 2, but 3. Wow, 3 people? But I thought he only cheated twice. Yes, he only cheated twice, but it was with 3 people because one of the times he cheated was with a fucking couple. But anyways, that's enough like a summary of what I'm going to be telling you about. But yeah, now the first time me and Zach ever chatted, we were on Grindr chatting, and then for some reason we went over to Discord and we had a normal conversation. I was just expecting to be friends with this guy, nothing more, because I was talking to Connor. Now, I made Zach well aware of Connor, and he still tried to make moves on me, which clearly worked. He was my ex. But the difference between Connor and Zach, Connor I could see a future with. Zach, I didn't really, if that makes sense. Like, and Connor, you know who you are. You're probably listening to this shit right now. And I just want to say I appreciate the fuck out of you. Me and Connor literally were texting the other night, and as I was like typing out the script for this video, or like the general idea for this video, he was like, "Ooh, that Connor person sounds nice. You should definitely hit him up." again and shit like that. And so who knows? Something might happen there with a guy who's actually really nice. But that's way down the line. We are just not mentally there yet to handle a relationship, if that makes sense. And we discussed it. I was like, well, hey, I hope Connor's going to be okay if I ask to take him on a date. Wow, I cannot talk tonight. But basically he agreed. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, back to the story. So Zach was flirting with me, knowing damn well I was talking to Connor. And me and Zach only knew each other for probably about a week. And we decided to go hang out. Me and Connor, we did not hang out at all. That's because he lives, guess what? 30, 40 miles away from me. Yeah, 30, 40 miles away. So I guess what drew me to Zach was how close he was. He was in my same town. That's how close he was. And I'm sure you can guess where this is going. It doesn't go well for Connor, obviously, as Zach is my ex. Now, we plan to meet at this park, and I'm leaving from my mom's house, and he's leaving from his house, and we get there about the same time. I think I was there first. Yeah, I was there first, and I was acting like a little kid playing in the little creek there at the park, and it was fun. And then he shows up. I'm standing in that creek, jumping on the rocks, shit like that. And I get out because I see him pulling up, put my shoes and socks back on, and I know I put wet feet in socks. That's my fucking red flag, if you ask me. But he pulls up in his brand new sports car. I don't know. But Zach's like, I don't like your truck. Because I drive this Ford Ranger that has cow print on it. And I put a bunch of cow print on the hood just recently, right before I met him. And I absolutely love the shit out of my truck. It's my little Ford White Ranger. It is amazing. So reliable. If you really want a reliable vehicle, get a Ford Ranger. Like, everyone shits on Fords. Ford Rangers are where to go. I've had that bitch for a year and a half now. No problems. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked easily. Zach's showing off his it's not even like a sports car. It's completely stock. He shows it to me and I'm unimpressed, which takes him aback a little bit. But, you know, the size of his ego, it could take a hit like that. But anyways, we decide we're going to walk around the park, and then we're right by the mountains. So I decide, hey, let's go for a drive up in the mountains. So he gets in my truck and we drive up to the mountains, and I take him to this overlook of the reservoir. Reservoir? I don't know how the fuck you pronounce it. I don't know. I take him there. We're sitting there just talking it up, and he gets on my lap and just kisses me. I think that's how it went. I don't know. I might have kissed him first, if I'm going to be honest. I don't remember exactly. That's besides the point. But we ended up making out sitting outside in the dark because the park kicked us out, so we went up to the mountains. We didn't do anything sexual that night except for make out. But anyways, let me see here. Yeah, I am looking at the text messages right now on Discord, and here, let me see. But we are talking here, and it looks like just sorry, I started speaking a little bit of Spanish. It looks like just a lot of flirting. Oh my god. I forgot about this. So I'm telling him about how I'm going to go meet Connor that weekend. And Let me see here. Yes, he says, so here's the thing, and I will say this to you because it's how I truly feel about myself in this situation. I will not fight for your want. I'm a catch, and I'm worth it. So if you do not see that or feel that he is more worth it in the end, then that's fine. I'm not one to beg. Whatever your heart lands, I will be there for you, friend or otherwise. Let's just have like a moment to just sink in what the fuck he just said. Did he just say he's a catch? Yeah, he's gonna catch some fucking STDs in hands. He almost did one time. Let's be honest. But yes, there is tons of flirting going on and whatnot. So, and I assume, yeah, he is coming over that night, and I don't remember what we did that night. Oh my god, and I think, wow. Wow. Yep, there was that and that. Let's just not. I think, yeah. Yeah, I think we fucked that night. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But anyways, I'm done going through these messages. They are just, I don't want to go through them. But anyways, you get the idea. We hung out, and like 2-3 days later, we hung out again and fucked. I don't remember what happened with Connor, but basically Zach convinced me to tell Connor, and I did, and he was hurt, obviously, because I was talking to him and I was basically already dating this other guy. So it was just, that's my red flag, was talking to multiple guys at the same time, and I really need to stop that. But, and I think I have. I've finished that era of my life. I've finished my hoe era. I've put myself through the ringer a couple of times and whatnot. But anyways, me and Zach started dating. It was a wonderful first month, but things started to happen. He was not coming over as much as I wanted him to. Now, teenagers. We all know teenagers and how horny they can get. If they want some, they want some. And unfortunately, I was the teenager that wanted some. And Zach, for some reason, only slept with me that one time. And that was that for like, I think, a week or two. And he was like, well, after like the fifth time of me asking if he wanted to come over and hang out, well, in quotes, hang out, he started suggesting that we do an open relationship. Now, who the hell suggests an open relationship at the beginning of a relationship? Not even like a month in, just a couple weeks in. He was suggesting that we go into an open relationship so I can get satisfied with my needs. His words, not mine. But anyways, he's pushing this idea further, and we hit our 1 month, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. And that was a really bad idea because he was on Grindr and he already found a couple. Yes. The first time he cheated was with the couple. Now, this relationship or open relationship, he manipulated me into making it my idea, if that makes any sense, because it was, quote, my problem or my issue, if that makes any sense. And he knew damn well I did not want to do an open relationship as I didn't know him that much. I didn't trust him that much. But yet, I still caved and I did it anyways. He met this couple. I was on Grindr reluctantly and I just dealt with it. Now, here's a side note for anyone that is tossing the idea of an open relationship who doesn't really know what an open relationship is. An open relationship basically means that you or the other person can go meet people together or separately, have sex with whoever, whatever, I don't know. But it's open to whatever as long as it's in your defined set of rules. Now, we didn't really understand that well because our only rules were we could go see people separately, obviously, because it was my issue, not his. Yeah, right? And oh my gosh. And our other rule, yes, we had to tell each other beforehand, make the plans beforehand, tell the other person who the other person was, and whatnot. So Zach started telling me about the couple he was talking to, and they seemed really nice. Now, I'm going to be honest, open relationships are only for like couples that have been together for a long ass time. This couple was together for probably since they were freshmen in high school. Yes, I think that's when. And I'm going to be honest, if you're ever in a situation where you're only with someone for like a short amount of time and they're asking for an open relationship, or they're telling you, trying to make it your problem that you need to resolve, leave it. That is a red flag. I don't know how I did not see it coming from, like, hitting me in the fucking face with, I don't know, with a fucking iron pan, skillet, whatever the hell you want to call it. I got hit so fucking hard and I still didn't see the market left. But here's some advice. There's someone out there who is your 10 out of 10 perfect guy, woman, person, whatever you're into. There's always going to be that 10 out of 10, that 100% person that will complete you. You don't have to stick around just because someone is, I don't know, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, because you're going to be stuck looking for that 2 out of 10 that's left. It doesn't make any sense to me to stick to someone that doesn't meet your standards completely. You shouldn't have to compromise. Like, yes, relationships, they require compromise. But on an emotional level, on a physical level, there shouldn't be any compromisation. Like, say you met someone and they're a bottom and you're also a bottom. Two bottoms do not make a top. So the compromisation there is one of you is going to have to top the other one, and then vice versa, and neither of y'all are going to enjoy it because you're both bottoms. And same thing goes for tops, and same thing goes for straight people. If she is a pillow princess and you just like being rode, she's going to have to ride you, and you're going to have to fuck her at some point, and you're just going to have to switch on and off, and it's just not going to be fun. It is not worth the compromise. And even on like an emotional level, like there is so many like different mentalities that clash. You have to be someone that matches your personality. But anyways, let's continue on with the story. Enough with the advice for now. But anyways, Zach instantly wanted to go and hang with the couple. Let's give them mm, let's call them Gavin and Jordan. Gavin, he was the talker of the two, and Jordan, your typical social anxiety ridden um person, as you will, if you will. I don't know how to say it. And now I can't remember exactly what it was, if he planned to hang out with him and didn't tell me until the last second, or if he already went to hang out with him and then told me after. I don't know. But that's when one of the rules came in where we had to tell the other person who and when we're going to meet with ahead of time. We had to have a warning. And now you might be asking yourself, well, why did you make that rule? Because you're in a relationship with someone, right? And relationships usually entail, you know what? Well, entails sex. And if you're going to meet up with someone in an open relationship off of a dating hookup app, whatever the fuck you want to call it, obviously there's the intention for sex. Now, if the other person in the relationship also wanted sex at that point, they can be like, hey, why don't you just come over to my place? If that makes any sense. Because you're with someone and they want sex and you want sex. Why wouldn't you want sex from the person that you're with? But anyways, he said he just made these plans just to, quote, meet them. And I didn't know what the fuck that meant. But I was fucking pissed. I did not like that for 1 second. Red flags, trust issues coming back, and I was just not having it. Now, after he went and met this couple just to, quote, meet them, he decided it would be a good idea because I told him I was not okay with him doing anything with anyone else. He thought it'd be a good idea to let me meet Gavin and Jordan so I can, quote, get to know them better and feel more comfortable with them. Now, I got no hatred towards Gavin or Jordan. Obviously, those are not their real names. But as for what happened, I don't think I could ever talk to either of them again. They were really nice people, and I did try texting them after we broke up, and I just couldn't. But anyways, I was like, fine, whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. You're gonna want to hang out with them anyways. You're gonna do it anyways, so might as well just let you have at it. And I obviously didn't say it like that. I didn't say it condescendingly like that. I just said, okay, that's fine, whatever. And originally I was okay with it, but I just had this horrible gut feeling. And that night he went to go hang out with them. They're up in the mountains and they're just hanging out. And I am texting Zach. I'm being like, hey, I don't want this to happen. I really don't feel comfortable with this and all of this stuff. He ended up getting back onto his phone on his way down from the mountain and telling me, hey, they didn't do anything yet. They were just going to go back to Gavin and Jordan's place and hang out. And I said, I do not want you to do anything with them. And he agreed. He said, okay, I promise I won't. That is where I fucked up. I said, okay, I trust you. Have a good night. Thank you. And he said, you're welcome. Now, for some foreshadowing, he sounded completely sober. He was driving his new sports car completely sober because I knew his ass wouldn't drive that shit drunk. But anyways, I woke up the next day with like 3-4 missed calls from Zach and a text to hang out later that day because I don't know. It was normal for him to call me once he was on his way home, and if I wasn't asleep, he would leave a message or like a text or something like that. So I didn't think anything of it. But, anyways, he came over and we sat here and just enjoyed each other's company. Like, we were sitting on my bed, just scrolling TikTok, having a conversation. You know the drill. But that gut feeling came running back. The vibe was so off. He looked so guilty. He looked like a guilty puppy that just tore up a fucking couch. He was looking awful. He could not hide that shit from me for anything. But naive little Mateo, he did not want to believe that, so he just thought it to be regarding me ruining his plans for last night to have sex. But I also forgot to mention that morning I had texted Gavin and I was like, I'm so sorry I ruined your plans for sex. And Gavin was acting so nonchalant. He was like, okay, yeah, it's no problem. And I don't blame Gavin for this at all because he believed it to be Zach's place to tell me what they did. Although, if I was in Gavin's shoes, I would have told me and just let it happen. Because cheaters, they fucking suck. They are awful. They Once a cheater, always a cheater, and they deserve what's coming to them. But anyways, Zach was showing me something on his phone, and I saw that Gavin texted him. And I was like, ooh, what's Gavin want? And Zach takes his phone, turns it around, and hides his phone screen from me. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. But I just didn't think anything of it. Once again, like, I knew something was up. I didn't know what was going on, but I just let it be. I did not confront him at all, although I'm pretty sure he could tell I knew something was up. But after he is done, presumably, he was talking to Gavin. Once he's done, presumably talking to Gavin, he shuts his phone off and he's like, Mateo, I need you to not freak out when I tell you this. And I was just like, let me see here. Yes, I was basically like, what are you hiding? And he just flat out told me. He just said, we fucked last night. I was drunk and I was all this stuff and he's so sorry. And I just stayed calm because I was just numb to the entire situation. I knew something like this would happen to me. But then again, I really, really, really don't know why I didn't tell him to get the fuck out of my house and block him on everything. Because I've always gone by the line, once a cheater, always a cheater. But I'm guessing I also had a reason to be guilty because I had originally told Zach, hey, I'm quitting vaping. And he was so proud of me for quitting vaping. Unbeknownst to him, a week after I said that, went to that little Indian corner store and got myself another vape. So I am sitting there and I'm like, well, I got something to show you too. I pull out the vape from my pocket and I show it to him. And he is pissed. He compared it to him cheating. He compared it to, I don't know, someone fucking a dog. He thought it was the worst thing in the fucking world. He made it seem like someone just murdered his mother. But he said, I broke his trust because I still vaped, even though I told him I didn't. And I literally went off. I thought it was fucking crazy that he would compare cheating to vaping. Now, for one, vaping is something that you do to your own body knowing the consequences. Cheating is something, yes, you do it to your own self, but you're also hurting another person involved, causing trauma, trust issues, and possibly a breakup. So I explained all that to him, and he wouldn't stop telling me about how drunk he was and all this shit, and that he wouldn't have done it when he was sober. Now, remember whenever I said he sounded sober as fuck on the phone? He was sober. He wouldn't be driving his new, beautiful, quote unquote, sports car if he was not sober. And then I made the mistake of asking what they did. And he tells me they did stuff that he promised he would do with me before he did it with anyone else in this open relationship. And I'm not going to go into details, but it was a lot. Oh, yeah. And I forgot to mention earlier, like before the argument started, when I was just sitting there super calm, like the calm before the fucking storm, he showed me the text that he had with Gavin. And Gavin said, to the best of my knowledge, "You are not going to hang out with us again until you tell Mateo what you did." And that's what made Zach cave, I guess. So that added more fuel to the fire, and I was just sick of it. But, anyways, I also made the mistake if he would have even told me if Gavin had said they cannot hang again. If he would have told me that he cheated that night. And he said, I'm going to be honest, I probably would have took it to the fucking grave or told you in a couple weeks. But he also said that he tried to call me the night prior and tell me over the phone. Now, something like this, if he would have told me it over the phone, I would have hung up and blocked him immediately. So I don't know why he thought it would have been a better idea to tell me on the phone right after the fact. Maybe he wasn't sober. I don't know, because something clearly wasn't working right up there in his head. So after that whole argument, that whole debacle, I told him I think it's best that he goes home while I reevaluated our problems, and he agreed, and I didn't talk to him for the rest of the day, although he was texting me about how sorry he was and how he can't lose me. He was telling me how much of a catch I am, basically, and all this shit, and how he doesn't want to lose me, how he's a big fuck up, and all this shit. And of course, we all know where this is gonna fucking go. But I gave him a second chance. I know, super stupid of me to give him a second chance, and I can't believe I did. But I thought I could trust him again. I thought I could learn to be with him again. I thought it would be easy to. But let me tell you guys something. If someone breaks your trust like that by cheating, lying, hiding something huge about their life, you're not going to be able to gain that trust back for a long, long time. Trust and love, they take time. And once you do something that proves you can't be loved, you can't be trusted, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it takes a while to regain that because the bad outweighs the good, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to be honest. I never fully trusted him for the rest of that relationship. Now, I think this was like sometime in December now, and my mom knows I have a boyfriend and all this stuff, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get him all this Christmas presents," and I'm telling her about what happened, and she's like, "Well, can you at least stay with him till after Christmas?" And I was like, "Okay, I think I can deal with it." But that month, he went to Alabama. Zach went to Alabama, and I decided I was going to get back at him. And at this point, I'm working at my old job that I got fired from, the grocery store. And in that particular grocery store, there was also a Starbucks. And at this particular Starbucks, there is this guy. We're going to name him, let's do Xander. So, Xander sees me on Grinder while I was at work. Yes, I re-downloaded Grinder because I wanted to get back at Zach so bad. I re-downloaded Grinder, and Xander sees me on Grinder. He hits me up and he's like, "Hey, let's go to the bathroom right now." And I'll be honest, I didn't go to the bathroom with him because I just didn't feel right doing it. And oh my gosh, the amount of shit Zach did to me over the time he was in Alabama. He was just ignoring me. It was just not fun. And I think we reopened our relationship by this point because it was open like 5 times the whole time we were together. I know, surprising, right? Yeah, we were open again by that time. So we both had Grinder, and I was using Grinder to get back at him, and he was using Grinder in Alabama to, I don't know, I guess meet local people. I don't know. But he said he was going to invite this guy over. He didn't know what they were going to do. And if they did anything, he would tell me after the fact. So that night, he went and hung out with someone. He brought someone over to his hotel. I went over to hang out with Xander. Zach had no idea Zach was asleep. I went over to Xander's new apartment and we fucked. And, or no, yeah, Xander came over to my house and we fucked. And then the next day I went over to his house and we fucked again. And the reason why Zach didn't know, he was flipping out and shit, like texting me. He's like, "Why is your location off? Why can't I see where you are?" and all this stuff. And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." It's because I had my location services turned off and he could not. It just showed my last known location because whenever you turn off your location services as a whole, it doesn't notify anyone. Plus, he was asleep at this time. So, but yeah, I was over at Xander's house and I leave his house and I go to work that morning and I turn my location services on whenever I get to work, and Zach is like, "Hey, why couldn't I see you driving to work? It just randomly teleported you there." And I was like, I don't know, that's weird. And I assume he had the suspicion that I cheated on him, but I never actually told him until like a month after I broke up with him. Now, this is where it all gets blurry. Like Christmas time, he gets all his presents from my mom, and I get all my presents, and I get a present from him and a present from his mom. And like Zach's mom, if you're listening to this, I miss you so much. You were so sweet, and I really did like that gift. It's really sweet. But anyways, I think this was like after Christmas at some point. We had closed off the relationship. I was like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't be in an open relationship. And he could tell I was distancing myself from him. So he went to go hang out with this kid. Not really a kid. He's my age. Well, more his, like in the middle. And, what's it called? He is a psycho bitch. This kid that he went and hung out with. We're going to call him Evan. Evan is one of those like crazy obsessed, like, you know. And if my one friend is listening to this, he hooked up with this Evan guy and it was awful. Like he smelt really bad. It was right after work. He didn't shave anything and he only lasted like 2 minutes. And then he was like, "I gotta go home. Bye-bye." But Zach, he saw nothing wrong with him. He went and hung out with Evan and oh god. I even told Zach about how crazy Evan was. I told him how he would catfish me on Grindr before me and Zach met, and how he just got really obsessed and possessive of me and all this stuff. But he still went over and hung out with him anyways. Now, to this day, I'm still unsure of exactly what they did, but I know for a fact that they fucked because Zach decided to tell Evan things that only me and Zach knew. Like, only me and Zach have done, if that makes sense. And the only confirmation I got was from Evan catfishing me again. This was probably like 2 weeks ago. He catfished me again and said that he was Evan's roommate and that he hung out with Zach a while back, sometime end of December, and they fucked. But anyways, that's besides the point. According to Zach, all they did was play Xbox. Now, my birthday is in January, and it was right after my birthday I broke up with Zach. Like, we went out to New York for New Year's, and then we came back. We had so many problems because he said, I've been spending too much time with you. I need a break. His break lasted for a week and a half, and then he decided to just come crawling back like nothing ever happened. Like, dude, you were hardly texting me. You were just really depressed. Like, you didn't even bother to ask me how I was doing. Now, we're going to fast forward to my birthday. I'm telling him, like, hey, I already got you stuff for your birthday in March. And he's like, oh, well, I can't get you anything because I don't have a job anymore. He got fired from his job for smoking weed. His dumbass decided he was going to smoke weed and get fired from his job. He pissed hot because his dumbass decided, hey, let me report an incident that happened even though I don't need medical attention. He reported it anyways. He literally got shocked by a wire and reported it. And then he had to get a drug test done, knowing damn well he smoked weed. I don't fucking know. But he lost his job. He was... he was just dying, apparently. Like, he was so much better off than I was whenever I got fired. But that's besides the point. I had got him gifts, and all I expected was just a little something from him. All he got me was from the sex shop a bag of free goodies that you can get as complimentary gifts and shit. Which was like, oh, what the fuck? But then again, it's fun now because I have a coloring book. And it's sex. I don't I thought it was pretty funny, but I don't know. I think it's pretty funny now, but at the time I was not happy at all. I was not having it. But I think this is like a couple days after my birthday, right at the beginning of February. I think it was around my birthday time. I was planning on breaking up with him because I just couldn't do it anymore. And I had re-downloaded Grindr and Tinder, and I started talking to people. And one of those people is one of my best friends to this day. And hey, if you made it this far and you're listening, you know who you are. Yeah, you know who you are. But anyways, I decided to have Zach come over, and he was like, okay. And it was at this point we were like, I think on a break or whatever, where I told him I just need some time away. And at this point he knew what was going to happen. And he comes over and he just sits in my office chair instead of lays in bed with me. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You can come over and cuddle. I just really need you right now. And he would not, for whatever fucking reason. And then he decided to just bicker with me. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? So arguing and arguing time goes by. And I finally get him to lay in bed, but he's not cuddling. And this is like the second time that I asked him, "Hey, I need to take a break. We need to take a break from us." And both times, he did not respect it whatsoever. He was constantly texting me and all this shit. And I told him that time, "Dude, I just need space. I will text you whenever I'm ready to see you." And he finally stopped texting me. A couple days later, I delete the Grinder and Tinder off of my phone, and I tell him, "Hey, can you come over after work?" He does. He comes over, sits in my office chair like I just said, and then I finally argue him to get into my bed. He's just sitting up on his phone, ignoring me. When I told him, "Hey, I need you here with me. I had a rough day at work," all this shit. So I start going, "Hey, Zach," and I'm poking him in the face. And I'm messing with him, and I'm calling him Pookie. He does not like the name Pookie at all, because you want to know what this motherfucker did? Slaps me right in the fucking face. I sit up, astonished. He looks at me with like the worst feeling, the worst look of guilt ever. And I'm like, "Get the fuck out of my house now." And he gets up and starts apologizing. He's like, "I will cuddle you now. I will do all this. I'll do all that." I'm like, "Nope, get out of my house right now." He gives up, grabs his jacket, his shoes, and as he's walking out the door, he says, "So, are we breaking up?" All I said was, "Get the fuck out of my house. I'll text you in the morning." And the next day, I broke up with him over text. I do not feel guilty about it at all. Here, let me pull up my other phone and I'll show you the texts. Well, not really show you, but I'll read them to you. Give me a second. Okay, I will start with the text that he sent me. And yeah, I'll start with the text he sent me whenever he got home. He says, "I don't know if you wanted me to tell you or not, but I made it home safe. Good night. I was an asshole tonight. I am sorry. I should have just let it go and stopped being so sour. I am really sorry. I know you are upset at me for hitting you, and you have every right to be. I felt I had a right to, considering you hit me. But I was completely out of line, and there was no way of ever justifying that. I understand if I have caused an issue that is irreparable, and understand if you no longer want to be with me. You definitely deserve better." I said, I was texting with my other friend, or I was on FaceTime with my other friend, and she was like, "Just take a day. You can get through this. Just think about it." And I told him I need a day to decide what I want to do moving forward. He said, "I understand. I made a huge mistake and I regret it. I never meant I never meant to hurt you. I was just hurt that you would say that to me, and I promise I didn't mean for it to be as hard as it was. I didn't even realize it was hard." I said, "Stop texting me, please," and he did. Now, you're probably wondering, why did he say he had a right to hit me if I hit him? So, what happened was I was just poking him, randomly tapping him, and my hand got up to his face. Or no, I kicked him, I think. I don't know. It was play fighting. You know, like how you do with a dog, or you do with your parents whenever you're a kid, or you do with your siblings, whatever. It was play fighting. I did not hit him that fucking hard. He slapped me so hard it left a mark. Now, the next day, I woke up and I'm like, so I've been thinking, and I feel like the best I can't talk. I feel like the best move going forward is that we stop while we're ahead. I think I've been losing interest recently and it's been hurting you, and I don't want to lie to you anymore. I feel like it's something you've been wanting too, deep down. Last night for you wasn't the Zach I wanted. For now, I just want time away to recoup and think about what I want moving forward. Thanks for teaching me things I didn't know before about relationships. You really were great. Hopefully in the future we can meet again and be good friends. Who knows? But right now, I know it's not what I want. And he said, "Can we have this conversation in person at least? I would prefer to not be broken up with over text if that's okay with you." I said I wouldn't be able to. And he said, "Could we at least do it over the phone? I'm not going to cry or be upset. I would just prefer to tell you how I feel with my voice rather than text." And I told him, "Make a voice memo." And I'm going to read the transcription of that voice memo. So give me a second here. It was, "I definitely understand. I am sorry. I am so sorry about last night. I understand if you'll never be able to forgive me for that. I'm okay with that. I deserve it. And that's okay. I'm sorry that I couldn't be what you want. Hit me to be. I really hope I. What? I don't know. And I hope that means something to you because you really did mean the world to me. We had our problems, but at the end of the day, I always loved you and I was willing to make it work. I'm sorry." And he also said, "I just want you to know that you were one of the best relationships I've ever had, and I promise I never wanted to let go of that. Thank you for being there for me when I needed you. Thank you for putting me up with even at my worst. I owe you a debt beyond anything I could possibly repay." And let's scroll down. And this is where it gets shitty. He said, "I heard you posted on your story about being single. Can I ask how long ago you posted that but had me off your story so I couldn't see it?" I had him on my story, so I don't know why he couldn't see it or if he was just being a liar. And he said, "It's fine if you blocked me on your story. I understand." I said, "You're literally on it." He said, "I don't know, then I guess my snap is just being dumb." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, goodbye, Mateo." And since he knows I spoke Spanish, he said, "Hasta que nos volvamos a ver," which means, till the next time that we meet or see each other, something like that. Now, I'm back on Grindr at this point. Like, obviously, I was on Grindr like 2 weeks before we broke up. And I'm being texted by Evan, catfishing as another guy. He is telling me about how he went and hung out with Zach. He went and hung out with Zach and stuff like that. And they did stuff late December. And Zach is just saying, "We didn't fuck. Look, I have no way of proving to you that we didn't, so believe what you want. However, what's shitty of you is getting on Grindr not even a day after you dumped me, and on top of that, announcing to your entire snap that you've re-entered your single era whoop whoop. So clearly you never respected our relationship. Look, if you want to talk about it, actually talk, don't just leave me on red." I said, "Give me a minute, damn." He said, "A minute for what? Continue to yell at me, don't just disappear. What's funny is he was trying to tell me that you cheated on me too. Supposedly, one of his friends told him that they had proof that you cheated, but I didn't believe him." And he said, "Yeah, you know what? Believe what you want, Mateo. This whole being left on red shit is annoying." And then he asked me to call. And I have a question. If all the bad memories of us are just so great, why do you want to see me on my birthday? Oh my god. And I guess I was drunk, because that doesn't make any sense. And then he says, "Please stop sharing your location with me. Thanks." I said, "Okay." And then this is Saturday, the Saturday after we broke up. The Friday night before, I went to a bar and saw a drag show. I posted a picture on my story, and I don't know why he was so offended, but he said, "Good morning, Mateo. I need to inform you that I have removed you off of all my social media. I will fully admit to you that your behavior the past few days that I have been hearing from other people sickens me, and I am formally asking you to please not talk to me for a while. I know you had a bunch of stuff for my birthday, and as much as I would like to give you the chance to give those gifts, I feel it would be in everyone's best interest that you return them. Your actions the past few days have shown me that you really don't care about what we had and that you probably never did. I want you to always remember that what I felt for you is real, and the pain I've been feeling the past few days seeing you on dating apps right after we split up and going to gay bars to get guys hurts me deeper than you will ever know. I have not blocked you and never will, so as in an emergency you can always get a hold of me. I will always care about you, and there will always be a part of my heart that loves you, but I'm hurting so deeply right now, and having you in my life is not making it any easier. Goodbye, Mateo." And I told him, I'll just save you the trouble and block you for you. Goodbye. I blocked his number. Blocked him on everything. Except for Snapchat. Snapchat? Hey, Zach, you can still add me on Snapchat, you dipshit. Now, whether I'll add him back, I don't know. But, anyways, I think this is like a little bit after that text. He's texting my sister, telling her, he's heard from other people that I have an STD now. Now, I'm fully going to admit, yes, I did have an STD scare. I don't have an STD. I didn't have an STD. I don't think I'll ever have an STD. But, again, there was the scare. I got my blood drawn, got my blood tested, negative. But one of our mutual friends, decided to go to Zach and tell him, hey, Mateo's saying that he has an STD. He's saying he has herpes, HIV, chlamydia, whatever the fuck, and that he should go get tested. And telling Zach that he should go get tested. And Zach's telling my sister about this shit. He's telling my sister I have STDs. So I tell him, call my sister, or she tells him to call her, and we do like that conference call thing because I have him blocked still. And he's telling me about how this friend of ours told him about an STD that I might have and all this shit. I'm like, dude, listen, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And if I did have an STD, I would go get tested first before telling other people that I have an STD. Now, granted, I did tell him I'm going to get tested and that I was going to tell him if it came back positive. So later on, I think it was like a week later, test results come back. Everything's negative. Everything's good. And he doesn't text me again. And that was the last time I talked to him. And I really, really, really hope I do not talk to him again. Oh, wait, no, there was one more time I talked to him, actually. Yeah, it was on my new phone. Let me pull it up here. Now, I texted him happy birthday, and he said, "Thank you. I admit I wasn't expecting you to message me today, but I really appreciate it." I said, "No problem. I still have one thing I want to give you. If you still want it, I can't return it." And he said, "That's fine. We probably have some things we need to get off our chest anyways. Nothing bad, nothing angry, at least not on my end. I'm hoping for some closure, that's all. Again, nothing bad and nothing that's meant to make you upset or angry." And then, give me 1 second here. I'm scrolling through this here, and I'm telling him I really shouldn't be seeing him. I apologize. And my mental health was on the decline. This was probably the lowest point in my life. I had an STD scare. I was cheated on. I was um basically told by several fake friends that me and Zach had made over the time we had spent together that I am a liar, a dirtbag, and all this shit. And I had absolutely no one except for one of my best friends that I have now, and he knows who he is. And I'm appreciative of my other best friend. She knows who she is. But he's sitting here and telling me other shit. And then he starts telling me about how pissed he is. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we're being all nice and shit. And yeah. And then he starts turning sour. And he's telling me how I shouldn't be going to gay bars and all this shit. And he's calling me a whore, but saying it's someone else's words and other shit. And whatever. And then he said, made me feel like what you and I had never really meant anything to you. It sucked. I'm honestly just glad it's over now. I'm sure you are too. And then he apologizes for the way the conversation ended. And then I told him, I'm going to be honest. After you cheated on me, it made me so pissed off. It was hard to love you. It really was. I was over you the second that happened. I just wanted to try and hurt you as long as I could, as long as I could bear to, as long as I thought you deserved. And you want to know one thing, and you want to know something? The night that Evan came over, or no, it wasn't Evan that I used, Xander. The night that Xander came over, we fucked twice, and the next day, and the next day. I'm sure you know that. My feelings for you were honestly gone after New Year's. I was talking with a friend of mine, and they were the one that told me to end it. The night you came here and we talked was when I just couldn't. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I always said I don't end things. Maybe I wanted to hurt myself even more by being with you. Maybe I wanted to be continuously reminded of the betrayal. But I'm glad it's over. Have a good fucking night. Don't talk to me again. He said, LOL, okay. And I think that's the last time. Yeah, that is the last time I ever spoke to him, ever saw him, ever really mentioned his name. And for a week after that, I got the closure that I needed. I finally told him, hey, I cheated on you right back. And hey, I got you right back. Now, the shit I said about being with him so I could hurt him even more, I don't want to say that's true, but it probably was deep down because I'm a petty ass fucking bitch. But moral of the story, he's a red flag. If you're with a red flag and it turns you into a red flag, don't be with them. Don't be with them. Don't do it. It's not worth the mental toll it takes on you. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a relationship, but you want to do it with someone that actually gives a fuck about you and doesn't want to go around sleeping with other people. And now I'm sure I didn't give the best detail in the world. I wasn't speaking the clearest, maybe, but that's the whole story to the best of my knowledge. And at the end, it's pretty fucking accurate because it's the most recent. But with all great stories, everything has to come to an end. And unfortunately, that concludes our time here with this podcast. I sincerely hope you made it this far. And if you did, go ahead, leave a like, comment, whatever I should do next. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Honestly, you could just block me after this because you think I'm a huge asshole. I don't care anymore. I'm medicated correctly now. I have a psychiatrist. I'm in a mentally well place. And nothing can really take me down anymore. And mental health, that'll be its own episode, but again, I really appreciate you for listening. I appreciate the support I had for that first episode, and I hope I get to hear from you guys at some point. And who knows? This next episode might actually have my friend on it because we are in the talks of making an episode of us in it. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I will yap into your ear next time, I guess. Have a good one. Have a great day. Have a whatever the fuck you're doing. Washing your pussy. I don't know. But anyways, have a good one.